Dubai is known as one of those cities where ambition meets opportunity. Everybody flocks here to be the best versions of themselves, be successful. What do you think people considering making the move to Dubai should really think about before getting on that plane?
You've got to really want it. It's not a place that you drift to and just coast. You've really got to be willing to put a lot of energy in. You've really got to want the end result. I would think about your goals and then really want them and figure out how you're going to get there. Now, Dubai is absolutely the land of opportunity. I've raised my family here. It's a fantastic place to be, and I come from a working class background. I'm a CEO. I'm very grateful, but I had to really work at it and create my own reality. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're going to find it very challenging, and you're probably going to struggle, and then you'll probably kind of find excuses to say that it's not the right place. So I think it's incredibly important that you've got that energy. Now, it is going to be very challenging. It is going to be difficult, and you've got to be a person that embraces that. It's like if you want to be the best sportsman in the world, that just really doesn't come easy. I mean, like, I've tried, but if you want to be the best footballer. I watched that documentary on David Beckham, and his dad had him in the garden just practicing free kicks over and over again.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it's on that documentary or a video that I saw, but I think he's on a beach and there's a trash bin about 100 yards away, and he just takes a football and he kicks it into the bin.
That, yeah.
Now that's because he's practiced that 1,000,000 times. It's
not a fluke.
Yeah, you can't just create. Nobody's got that natural talent. Maybe you've got a little bit of it, but it's effort and practice. Now, if David Beckham would have quit halfway, or even 99% of the way there, he wouldn't be David Beckham and he wouldn't be where he is. And you've just got to be that willing. You've got to be willing to get up when it's still dark, go out and train. For me, getting up while it's dark, I try and go for a run or a swim. I come into work and I try and do the best that I do. I try and move quickly. I get frustrated if there are obstacles in my path. I get frustrated when I'm driving to work if people are going too slow, because I want to get there quickly and I want to get stuff done. So you've got to be that way minded, because it's such a fast-paced environment that you will drown if you don't swim quickly.
Yeah. From your perspective and your experience, you've been here a while now, over 10 years. How do you think the business climate in Dubai has changed, and do you think it's kind of opened itself up more for career growth and people coming out here to succeed? What do you think's been the catalyst for the change, if any?
In some ways it's changed, but if I start from saying that the pace of life hasn't changed, it's always sought excellence. It's always wanted to be at the forefront of everything. It's a new city, a relative new city. We can kind of measure it in decades. You can measure the UAE in decades as it became a country in its own right. But in many ways it's changed because now it's opened up so much more, so it's become a bigger city, even in the 10 years I've been here. I know Emrill's, when I joined, I think we had about 3,500 people, and now we've got 12,000 people. Now, if that's representative of Dubai, then it's kind of more than tripled, it's quadrupled. And there are now areas of Dubai that literally didn't exist 10 years ago. So, it's opened up much more. There are more opportunities. There's more people, which obviously is more growth and more opportunity. So I think it's changed in the sense that there are a lot more opportunities out here, but it hasn't changed in that relentless drive towards excellence. It's still as hard as it's ever been to make it in Dubai. There are just more people doing it. And of course that then attracts more investment, more outside finance coming in, and as it establishes itself more as a global hub of business, the opportunities grow.
Are there three pieces of advice? If somebody says to you, right, I want to make the move to Dubai, what would your top three bits of advice be to them?
Have plenty of energy. You have to. No, I'm not a massive fan of no work-life balance. I want people to have a work-life balance. I might wander around the office. If anybody's in the office after 6 o'clock, I want them to go home. I don't want them to be here. But you've got to be willing to, and that's just, it just is what it is. You know, like we talked before about, if you want to be the best sportsman in the world, that probably means you spend every waking hour practicing that thing, and it's relentless. It's that drive. I think Muhammad Ali said that your real training starts when you're in the gym and you're burnt out and you've got nothing left, and that's when your training starts.
When you push past
yeah,
that,
when you've got nothing left. And you know, I go back to some history I've got in the military service. And I remember being on a particular course when they said that to me. They said, we want the people that get to the point where they've got nothing left and they're physically and mentally exhausted, and then you carry on. And that's Dubai, you know, that's the UAE in general, I think. So you've got to have that energy, and if you've not got that energy and you don't want that kind of a lifestyle, then don't choose it, because you'll just burn yourself out and you'll be unhappy. So you've got to be very ambitious. You've got to be willing to go the extra mile. And then don't complain that you're working long hours and you're putting lots of effort in, because that's just what it's like, you know.
It's what it's like in every big city, isn't it? Like,
I think so. But I think Dubai has got, there's very few places that you can compare Dubai to, because it is relatively new as a city and a nation, and it's always strived to be the best in the world. It expects that from everybody. So you can't go there and you can't come here and cruise, or at least I don't think that's what it expects. It expects you to come here and just drive towards like being the best you can be. And if you're not that sort of a person, and not everybody is, you know, not everybody in the world can be a CEO or a CFO or a director of a business or a world-class sportsman or whatever. Not everybody wants that. So don't put yourself in that environment. I think that's the best advice that I could give, is kind of choose your swim lane. You know, and when I go swimming, I see people going, I'm not a brilliant swimmer. I can swim, but I'm not fantastic. And there's people in like lane 1 that are just whizzing up and down, and then there are people in lane 2 who are kind of okay. And then, you know, and I choose the lane that's at my pace, and I get it. If I get in lane 1 and I can't keep up with the pace, I'm going to be unhappy and I'm going to get in their way. And I think if you choose to come to a city like Dubai, there is a very, very fast-paced environment that always strives for, you know, the best of the best. Then make that decision consciously. Don't just kind of drift over here thinking that you're going to come here and the road's paved with gold and you're easily going to make a fortune, because you're just not, and you're going to get very, very frustrated when that doesn't happen.